that he didn't even know who the woman was because he meets so many people and all the conversations are the same. So it's either
You're going that route. Oh my god. Last but not least,
correct in understanding that you saw Irvin on a plane at some point after the incident? I thought I heard in an interview you mentioned something about seeing Irvin on an airplane.
No, I didn't see him on an airplane. What had happened was relatively serendipitous. So we had somebody that I was there with, a gentleman named Tony Bruno, who had a big, radio presence for a very long time, and still does. He was on Radio Row, and somebody had from Michael's team had gone up and said, I guess this was on Tuesday after I'd read the article, but before I knew that it was this incident, said, hey, this is what happened with Michael or whatever. A Sunday night, he was at the Marriott, and the Tony Bruno's fiance now said, oh my gosh, I know the people that were with him. And they called me and said, Bryn, I'm two people that know Michael are here. I think you were there when this all happened. And pretty quickly I spoke to them on the phone, and then they said, Michael's agent would probably reach out to you in a moment if that's okay with you. And he did. And then, I explained the story, and, I said, hey, listen, I said, I really don't care, but if you want, I can send you the pictures, because it was in the exact several moments. And this was before, obviously, anybody saw this video. And he said, okay, let me just confirm a few things to make sure this is accurate. Would you be okay with hopping on a three-way call with Michael? And I said, of course. So a moment later, they called back, and Michael was on the phone, very as if, not a very somber kind of guy. And he said, hey, and I said, Michael, I said, I'm sure you don't remember me. I said, but because there are so many people he's speaking to, I said, but I was a guy, and I explained what we talked about what he was talking about on ESPN. I said, hey, then we went outside. And as I was telling my story, he started to literally finish my sentence. He's like, oh my gosh, you were talking about Jalen Hurt. Oh, yeah, we went outside. He goes, and before I knew it, he got very emotional. And the next thing I heard him say was, I got to get off this plane. I got to get off this plane. He had exited the plane at that point because I think he was heading back to Dallas. So, because I think maybe he'd been asked to leave or whatever. And now that he knew that I guess somebody was there and could recall it and all of that, he immediately left and got off that plane.
So in other words, he wanted to as soon as he found out this breaking news, he wanted to go back to Phoenix to try to clear things up, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think it was because he thought that it was not there was nobody around. And, when I spoke to him, the biggest thing that he kept on asking was, he goes, I talked to so many people. I have no idea who this woman could be out of the people that I spoke to, because all the conversations were the same. He said, and he couldn't wrap his mind around who had said that he said something, because again, he was talking to a bunch of different people. So that was, and he looked horrific. He was pretty torn apart that next day. I don't think he'd eaten. He was still wearing the same clothes because they'd asked him to leave in the middle of the night. So it was you
can clearly see he was in some degree of emotional distress there.
Entirely.
So he said that, so Bryn said that Michael said that he couldn't recall. He didn't even know who the woman was because he meets so many people and all the conversations are the same. So it's either
you're going that route. Oh my god.
So it's either he didn't see it, or Michael has a habit of asking women whether they've had a big black man inside of them. It's probably the first one, but we don't know.
You don't know. Maybe that's his the icebreaker. That's how they break ice. Let's break it open. Oh my god, guys! I think it's what is clear in this the last part is that Michael didn't even really, it's been said in previous articles and previous shows we had about this. He didn't know what really happened, and by talking to Bryn, he he started remembering for, okay, this is the person who probably is accusing me of this assault. And right away his first reaction is, let me go back to clear this up.
Yeah.
I don't want to go home. I want to be part of what they have hired me for.
Yeah.
And also, of course, let me clear my name right away, because it doesn't make any sense.
No. And at that point, he still could have went on the Super Bowl broadcast show if they could have cleared his name immediately.
Yeah.
But I think as well, I think that once the
Story got out
once
there.
yeah the story got out and the can of worms opened, it's it basically you basically have to wait. He basically uh had to wait and still has to wait until the whole procedure is done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One last thing that they also Nick of Pat Law, Legal Pat Law, also asked Bryn is whether NFL had contacted him before, and they didn't. So yeah, basically this is his perspective on this whole thing. I mean, it's quite clear, guys, that the interaction from the viewpoint of Bryn, which is one of the witnesses, um, key witnesses, it's not really very deviate. It doesn't deviate a lot from what we've seen so far and what we've heard in this story. So
No. Well, and Bryn also gave a short interview or a short a short interview during the press conference. But in this interview, he went more into detail into specific aspects of the video, which is something I found very enlightening. So it doesn't really change the point of view, but it does create more context. It
mhm.
gives you more, a better understanding of what happened. But basically, what happens in a court case is that the facts of the matter would have to be reconstructed. So everything, so the video helps with the reconstruction, the testimonies help with the reconstruction, what people can prove helps with the reconstruction. And once the facts are established, you will then have to go and see what the facts are, legal facts. So, what facts are relevant for the legal aspect of the case, because it is a court case. And after that, once you establish the facts and you establish what the relevant legal facts are or information is, and the relevant arguments from both sides, the judge will weigh every comment, weigh the position of every side, and come to a conclusion that might or might not be what actually happened, but that's basically how it goes.
Clear.